All right, let's just jump right in. With the festive season kicking off, there's one topic that's, well, shining brighter than anything else: gold. I mean, prices are hitting all-time highs, and pretty much everyone is wondering, what do I do? Do I buy? Do I hold? Or do I completely rethink my entire strategy? So, to really get a sense of what we're talking about, you gotta wrap your head around this number. We're talking 25,000 tons of gold held privately by Indians. Now, just to put that into perspective for you, that's more than the official gold reserves of the United States, Germany, and Italy combined. It's this absolutely massive hidden treasure trove of wealth just sitting in our lockers. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? When you look at the gold that you own, what do you see? Do you see a priceless family legacy, something that can never be replaced? Or do you see a powerful financial asset that's just waiting to be put to work? Honestly, this is the core dilemma we're going to unpack today. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the heart of it all: tradition. Then we'll crunch some of those head-spinning numbers. We'll even get a little bit into the psychology of it all. And of course, we're going to give you a practical playbook and some golden rules to live by. By the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea of what to do. Okay, first up, let's talk about why gold is so deeply important in India. It's about so much more than just the money. For generations, gold has been the ultimate symbol of prosperity, right? It's front and center at all our biggest celebrations, weddings, festivals, you name it. But beyond all that sparkle, it's a critical part of a family's wealth, a heritage that gets passed down. And so importantly, it's a financial lifeline. Just think back to 1991, when India itself had to airlift gold to get an emergency loan. It really is our ultimate safe haven asset. Which brings us to the dilemma facing so many people right now. Tradition tells us to buy gold on auspicious days to secure good fortune. But financial reality is practically shouting that prices are at an all-time high. So what are you supposed to do when your traditions and your financial common sense seem to be pulling you in two different directions? All right, let's get into the numbers, because to make a smart move, you really need to understand what's actually fueling this incredible surge in gold prices. Let's be honest, a number like this just stops you in your tracks. A 43.76% return in less than a year. That's not just good, that's absolutely astronomical, especially when you see that the Sensex barely even budged in that same period. This is why everyone is talking about gold. So what's lighting this fire? Well, it's pretty much a perfect storm of global uncertainty. You've got geopolitical conflicts, fears of an economic slowdown, trade wars, shaky currency markets, you name it. And in times of chaos, everyone from you and me to the world's biggest central banks that all run to the safety of gold. But here's a really crucial reality check. Gold doesn't just go up forever. History shows us that after these massive rallies, it often enters these long, quiet periods. I mean, look at the 1980s, an entire decade of basically zero returns. It happened again in the late 90s and for most of the 2010s. What this tells us is that just chasing a rally can be a really risky game. And this brings us to a really fascinating psychological question. We need to kind of look inward at our own personal relationship with the gold we own. So just ask yourself this. When you picture all the gold sitting in your locker, do you see it as just one single pile of assets, or are there different categories in your mind? The answer is way more important than you probably think. See, most of us own gold in all these different forms, right? There's the jewelry you wear every day, the heavy sets for special occasions, and maybe some coins or bars tucked away purely for investment. And mentally, we treat them very, very differently. And this is the key insight. We tend to see gold through two completely different lenses. Jewelry, that's all about sentiment, emotion, legacy. It's tied to memories, and we often see it as irreplaceable. But bars and coins? That's driven by cold, hard rationality. They're liquid, financial tools for preserving your wealth. And here is the proof. This chart is fascinating. We'll happily sell a gold bar, no problem at all. But that wedding necklace your parents gave you? That's a whole different story. And the earrings you wear every single day? Forget about it. Our emotions are calling the shots here, not our spreadsheets. Okay, so recognizing that split between sentimental and investment gold is the first big step. Let's build on that with a modern playbook for how to invest smartly today. And there's a huge shift happening right now. While demand for traditional jewelry is actually slowing down, investment in financial gold products like gold ETFs has absolutely exploded. This shows that modern investors are getting better at separating the idea of wearing gold from owning it as an asset. So, how do you play this new game? Well, let's look at the menu of options. You've got your classic jewelry, but you gotta watch out for those high making charges. Coins and bars are a solid choice, but you have to think about storing them safely. For those who are comfortable with the stock market, there are gold ETFs. And then there's the superstar of the group, sovereign gold bonds. They're safe, tax-friendly, and they literally pay you interest just to own them. It's all about finding the right fit for your goals. Now, no matter which path you choose, there are some non-negotiable rules every single smart buyer needs to know. Remember, when you're buying, you have rights. You have the right to question everything, the purity, the source of the gold. You have the right to a transparent, detailed bill. You deserve to know that your gold is sourced legitimately. And you absolutely have the right to good service and a fair buyback policy. So don't ever be afraid to ask those tough questions. All right, let's quickly talk about the not so glamorous but super important details. First, purity. The HUID mark is your absolute best friend here. Don't even think about buying without it. Then there's taxes. When you buy, you've got GST, and when you eventually sell, the tax authorities will want their share. Just be aware of it and plan for it. So, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all boil down to? It's really this powerful idea. Smart investing is never about putting all your money into whatever's hot right now. It's about building a balanced, diversified portfolio. And gold is a crucial part of that mix, right alongside equities, fixed income, and real estate. But it is just one part of a bigger picture. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you head into this festive season, what role is gold really going to play in your life? Is it going to be purely that cherished symbol of tradition and prosperity? Or will you also make it a strategic, hardworking pillar of your investment portfolio? The choice, of course, is yours.